broken system, chained and tangled up in lies. Voices shouting, screaming in defeat. Politicians playing games under darkened skies. Hope lost in the dust of the street. Red and blue, colors pouring from the sky. Debates turn to anger, the crowd gets loud. Punches flying in the blink of an eye. Truth buried deep beneath the shroud. Welcome to the bullpen, where the weak will survive. These broken dreams we defend, trying to keep alive. Faces on the screen, flashing perfect teeth. But behind those eyes, just rotting greed. Politicians turn to whispers beneath. They all just get what they need. Whispering conspiracies, drowning in their lies. Echoes of freedom, lost in cries. Spin the wheel of fate, let's see who rise. But this game will bleed you dry. Welcome to the bullpen, where the weak will survive. These broken dreams we defend, trying to keep alive. Welcome to the bullpen, where the weak will survive. These broken dreams we defend, trying to keep alive.
Time zone, so it's time for the bullpen. And we've got Mad Cheesemo. And Chad has finally gotten inside from letting his dogs do their business.
I don't
You
like
want to
the way
tell
you
everybody how
phrased
that
it.
went?
The dog went on its schedule, and now it's good. It's all good.
Nice. So now we're starting, and you may need to bump up your volume a little bit, Chad.
I think
Alright.
both of you are low for me, but that may be on my end.
So,
Do you have nice headphones to hear it, Mad?
Yeah,
he's
I do.
he's got the wireless version of what I stole from him.
No, I do not. I have these wired versions. They're dang it, hold on. They're called fucking expensive. I don't know. There's not a name on them.
They're called expensive. That works. Is it Elgato branded?
No, Elgato doesn't make headphones, and you know that, Chad.
I don't know that. I don't have anything Elgato.
Lindsay, sipping on a rye sour. Hope you all are having a good evening. I found something new yesterday. Let me grab.
This is the serious show. Don't get Brahma drinking on this show.
I haven't drank on a single show for 2 weeks, except for your show when Mad was in town. There's a new Sazerac rye, and it's 100 proof instead of 90 proof. Just came out 2 or 3 days ago. So that'll make a great mixed drink. Figured we start with the kind of pop culture, not necessarily deep politics thing. Gen X has had a pretty bad week. Our icons are going quickly, so figured we would talk a little bit about Hogan and Ozzy's passing.
Now, as a young one on the panel, I gotta ask you two older guys: does that make you feel like, oh man, mine's coming around soon?
A little bit. When the people that during your teenage years you were watching, well, with Ozzy and Hulk, it was even before teenage years, watching them start to drop. Yeah, I mean, we're all getting closer to 50, and I don't even really want
There
to go
is the
past
feeling
80.
of mortality.
So you start
So,
when you can look back at a 20-year period or a 25-year period. Once you've gotten old enough to really just be able to look back at a 25-year or 25-year long period, and then you think, I've only got like 1.5 of those 25-year long periods left. It starts to put a timer on
That's
things, I guess, a little.
that's never gonna happen to me.
No. Even though, I mean, like when we hang out, I still feel like the same that I did in my early 20s. I'm a little bit slower at
Oh,
things.
I
It
don't.
takes me a lot longer to recover on some things, but I mean, I don't feel like I can't do things that I did in my 20s.
Oh, I know I can.
Well, you had a rough 20s.
True.
so this is
I mean,
it's
you
gonna
got blowed up.
it's gonna
yeah,
sound like
yeah.
a
I don't think I
silly
could do that again.
Yeah, I wouldn't try
compared
it
to
again
Mad,
either.
it sounds silly, but for me, like the number one, I remember when I was in college, we had a Pizza Hut right near the campus, and so they did a dorm special where it was $7 for a large 2-topping pizza, no
Pickup only?
delivery charge,
Oh,
because they were constantly running delivery
oh,
to the dorms. Right, you just had to wait for them to be making their run, but they'd have like 27 orders, so it made it very cost effective for them. I could eat that whole MF and pizza like it was nothing. you know, I was like, now I have like 2 slices. I'm like, all right, I think I'm good. I was like, that's a weird reference point, but it's like when you were young, you could stay up all night, you could eat all this food, you could do all this shit, and then it's like now it's like, man, I really just want a good night's sleep. So it looks like Brahma's going having some connection issues.
Oh, is that guess what happened?
Yep.
I heard him saying "uh-oh," but I didn't know
Uh-oh.
what it was about. Did I ever tell you
Well,
about Mary Jane's Pizza? It was open till 4:20 in the morning.
it's a great time.
Yeah, it
Great
was the
time to be
best
alive.
pizza I've ever had in my life. And then we were getting ready to go. We had like classes and flights and stuff like when I was at the aeronautics school. And I was like, dude, let's order Mary Jane's Pizza. So we did. It was the worst pizza I've ever had in my life. It seemed as though we were missing a key element in what made it the best.
Grenade.
Elgato. Can you guys hear
Was
me?
Don't you blame
Was
blame
it an
Elgato.
Elgato product that went
Yeah,
south?
look. The cam went down, and then everybody went robot-y.
Now you sound.
That sounds like a
robot-y.
skill issue.
Yeah, I think it's an internet issue.
Apparently Elgato put out a new line of products, and I was gonna send the links to Mad because they put out some new stuff. They have a new capture card that's apparently easy to plug in.
Yeah, I know.
Like,
I've seen this stuff.
yeah. They have a new little Steam Stream Deck that looks even more fancy and fun
I've got the
For-
one with the knobs.
for Mad to program
Nice.
Helldivers stratagems into. Because
That is the only thing I've ever used mine for.
and you were so happy when it was working. It was like
When
oh,
it was
it's so good.
working.
Well, he had to get it set up, and then it was fine. Then we stopped playing the game.
Yeah, that's what we do. We get everybody ready to go, and then we stop.
I think Mad seems like he's already also tapped out of Dune because I've had to go to the base
It's
to try to
so
turn the shields back on a couple times.
it's so tough, bro. Like to get there's so much, it's overwhelming.
Me and Slender are already end game. I'm like level 160 and having a good time.
Fine, I'll play it.
You don't even have to work hard. You just go to to Slender's guild base and you can get all the good shit right there. You don't even have to work
Fine.
for it.
Do it.
I even put nice stuff in there like high-end sniper rifles. And all
Okay,
this.
I'll go. Go.
Just saying.
This is a Friday night topic.
Yeah, I know. But I need to get Mad back in the game because if he doesn't come in, Jane's going to give up on it too.
Well, if Jane's there, I'll go.
She's got a house right nearby.
So
She's in there.
me and Matt were talking a little bit about Hulk Hogan in the back before we started.
He's a
Do you
real
have any-
American.
He is a real American.
Hulk Hogan was awesome. I mean, number one, he was iconic. He was look, I get it. There was the issue that kept him out of WWE for about a decade.
Oh, I don't care about that. I'm talking
Yeah,
about
I
he
don't
just
care
wasn't a
about
very
that at
good
all.
wrestler.
Nobody
was-
was a good wrestler back then.
How about Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, Bret Hart, Owen
Those
Hart?
guys, those
Those are
guys
a
were all like
decade later,
15 years later.
I mean, you're looking at like when the
Hulk
Steiner
Hogan,
brothers were
yeah.
wearing like varsity jackets. And
Yeah, and they were better
the
wrestlers.
Dogs and
Like-
the Bushwhackers were
Yeah.
teams.
Hulk Hogan started in the mid-late 70s, like
Yeah.
during the Van Erich years, where they're just like, what's your move?
Macho Man was a better
I just
wrestler.
hold a guy's head with my hand.
Macho Man had essentially the same moveset, except
He
just a
did
different
that elbow.
finisher,
He
which
did
was
an-
also just,
he did an
dropping
elbow
down on
instead of a
somebody.
knee drop. Yeah.
Yeah. I
But
mean,
from
they
a-
were
more of
essentially
a
the
height.
same wrestler.
They were not. I like
I
the
don't know.
Ultimate Warrior more than I like Hulk.
Well, he's went out real early, so he didn't have the staying power.
Yeah.
And yeah, if Ultimate Warrior had stayed around, maybe he does the epic heel turn to completely move a rival promotion above the WWF at the time.
That's when Matt actually cared about Hulk.
Yeah, that's when I started
Hollywood
watching.
Hulk.
Was the NWO and DX. I was Wolfpack guy.
Yeah, so was I. 'Cause
Everybody
my favorite was Sting. And when Sting finally sided with NWO,
Wolfpack,
Red and
yeah.
Black, the Wolfpack, I enjoyed that.
I love the Outsiders. Kevin Nash and Scott Hall.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, I
Amazing.
love the whole clique. I mean,
Oh yeah,
and that was the one thing I didn't like about Hogan was, yeah, he was a great American patriot, but the politics of him backstage on who he would lose a belt to and all that kind of stuff was kind of jacked up.
Finger Poke of
because-
Doom.
Yeah, Finger Poke of Doom was pretty bad, but just him refusing to get other wrestlers over every now and then was kind of a dick move for the person in his position. But it was also because he let so few people actually get over him clean that he kind of had the mythology that he had. So I can see why he would do it, but still kind of sucks for that next couple generations of wrestlers. So that's why it was nice to have competition back then with WCW and WWE.
Well, he was a big reason why it died.
That as well. So that and Ozzy was Ozzy. I mean, I grew up going to a Christian school. There were plenty of kids who were not allowed to listen to Ozzy because of the devil's music. But I had
You're going
Black
robotic.
Sabbath's- Am I? Is it better now?
It's exactly the same.
Okay, take over for a second.
All right, cool. I'll say this about Hulk Hogan. Chad, you remember we watched what was it? Was it Suburban Commando?
Suburban
Man, that was
Commando.
that was a fun movie.
Yeah, we had Suburban Commando. I mean, Hulk Hogan had quite the filmography, starting with Rocky 3,
Yep. Thunder Lips.
Thunder Lips, moving into his own performances. I do think No Holds Barred is a better
Classic.
better
What's
classic.
that smell?
And then, of course, he had his short-lived Thunder in Paradise syndicated Turner show, where it's like, hey, how do we make Hulk Hogan better? What if he drives a stealth boat in the Caribbean and
Wait, don't tell
fights
me-
terrorists?
Thunder in Paradise?
Yeah.
Nailed it.
Yep. And what will we do? We'll get other WCW wrestlers to be the bad guys of the week. Oh, can we get Sting? Yeah. All right, I'm in.
All right, any better?
Yeah.
I think it was the Audio Technicas. I think there's a short. If it goes robotic again, I'm just going to do a full reboot, see if I can fix the camera and the audio.
So it's going robotic again.
Is it?
Yeah.
You're not screwing with me because you're mad.
Wait, no,
It
you're good
sounds
now.
fine, actually. Yeah, I was about to stop and be like, "Don't do it, Brahma. It's a trap. It's a trap."
Yeah, I don't trust him. Not to do
What
a
the
full
hell?
reboot. That's going to take minutes. So, let's see. Ozzy's death hit Lindsay hard.
Yep. Oh, Here's something for Ozzy's death that is a nice political meme.
Is it the Soros thing? Yeah. Elon posted it earlier, but I had seen it a
No,
few
not
days ago.
Soros.
Oh, Mitch McConnell. Okay.
I mean, I know what I'm getting with Soros. I don't need people with R's next to their name to be. I'm just saying, at this point,
Yeah, but
in
he's
his
going
life,
away.
Not quick enough.
True.
Not.
Not quick enough for Chad.
Not quick enough. That's my favorite Keanu line. It comes from Street Kings. When he's like, "What'd they call you, man?" "They call me Quicks, man." Huh, not quick enough. One of my favorite lines.
It's a good
All right.
stuff.
So there's the reminiscing. Let's get into the politics. Where do we want to start? We've got plenty of stuff from Gabbard. We've got Ghislaine Maxwell. We've got Trump saying that Kamala's campaign was cooking its books. I've got some stuff from Charlie Kirk's talk with Tucker. We've got Bongino's text from this afternoon, Democrat favorability, Vance calling out big tech, or the Trump European vacation.
I think we've got to go with this one, the Trump, because while he's there, he just announced the major trade deal with the European Union.
Yep.
Which is a baseline 15% tariff, but even more than that. EU's agreeing to purchase $750 billion worth of U.S. energy and invest $600 billion into the United States above current levels.
And what did the USA give up?
Nothing.
Really, not much of anything. He got 99% of what he said he wanted.
We were since the Marshall Plan in World War II, we have basically had completely free trade with European goods coming into the U.S. All tariffs against Europe were basically suspended going back post World War II under the idea that we had to do that to help them rebuild their economy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's been enough time. Their economies are all rebuilt now. They can deal with it. And now 15% baseline tariff, which is what is designed to make up for the fact that any goods coming from the U.S. we're hitting VAT taxes plus tariffs plus this plus that, whatever. I see Eclay, the EU only made a deal with us because China turned them down. No, Eclay, they didn't want to make the deal with China because China was targeting the European Union to flood their market with their cheap shit, to absolutely gut them. And not surprisingly,
You mean the way the USA gets all their crap from
yeah,
China?
no, but that's what's funny, because the European Union, the people who run that, said no. If we let that happen, it would completely destroy our manufacturing base.
Which is what happened
Happened
here.
to the United States. So yeah, so it's good for us. It's good for the United States. We're going to get steady tariff revenue now. I mean, there's a reason why June was the first month in forever with a surplus, and it was all from tariff money.
Yep.
We're going to get a guarantee. We have this deal in place. The energy thing is important because it's in terms of strategy from a position of trying to get a peace deal on the Ukraine-Russia war. The European Union agreeing to purchase all those energy supplies, natural gas, oil, etc., from the United States on a steady stream, number one, helps our domestic oil market and, I guess, fossil fuel market. It also means that Europe doesn't have to worry about Putin turning off the spigot.
Defended. Yeah.
So it's good, and that helps put more pressure on Putin, because if Europe doesn't have to look like, where are we going to get our energy supplies? They've already made that deal. So it's done.
Yeah.
We're good.
Hey, I've got a camera.
You've got a camera. Yay. So
So while Trump's doing that on what all the left has been just saying, all he's doing is golfing on our dime, blah, 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 blah. So he's got that trade deal. And then he's got Marco Rubio and him tag teaming against Cambodia and Thailand to end their war. They've both agreed to an immediate ceasefire and are going to be meeting with Marco in Malaysia. So could have another one of those long, long wars come to a true ending again because of economic reasons.
because that's our number one item to
tool.
use to actually stop and get our whims and desires and strategies, whatever
Yeah.
followed.
Remember what we said when he announced the blanket tariffs, that it was just with each different country, he's going to use whatever levers he wants to get them to do. It's going to be the tariffs are the levers to force action from these different countries. And so far it's been working. That's 2 wars that are, well, one war ended, one war that looks like it's going to end really quick. So that's a hell of a lot more than Obama did for his peace prize
Yeah.
by showing up.
So it's a great win. The Dow futures are already up 157, so they're going to pop off really solid when that opens tomorrow.
Yeah, the stock market has stopped reacting like idiots every time
Yep.
tariff stuff is announced. Now, if we could just get Powell to actually stop acting like an idiot, then we might be moving somewhere.
Oh, he made Powell look like such a little dick the other day. Do you have, I think...
Oh,
did we-
when they were taking a tour of the Fed.
I didn't see that one.
You didn't see those clips?
No.
Oh, they're fantastic. Let me, I'll find one. I think I bookmarked it. Give me a minute.
Okay. So while he's looking that up, what Vance was doing over the past week, Vance actually called out big tech, saying that their labor shortage story is absolute bullshit and has called for them to stop abusing the H-1B visas. So I think that gives us an indication that Vance is fully going with the MAGA stuff, if he's willing to turn on the rest of the tech bros to a degree, and Peter Thiel, because they're the ones that are abusing the H-1Bs.
The H-1Bs are such bullshit. So, all right, so Trump goes, all right, so remember, I think, was it 2 weeks ago when I told you the line of attack they're going with Powell is the budget overruns on the Treasury.
On the building, yeah.
On the Fed's buildings. So Trump decides, I'm going to go there. I'm going to take a tour of this, of all this.
Oh, I think I did
stuff.
hear the audio from it. Yeah.
Yeah, so they bring Tim Scott, and people are like, why was Tim Scott there? Because he's the chairman of the Senate Committee of Record overseeing this. So this is them.
The reason why we wanted to see it was the overruns of the expenses. Wanted to figure out
A little loud.
why.
Yeah. So we're taking a look, and it looks like it's about 3.1 billion. It went up.
All right, so number one, Trump knows optics, and he knows he's taller than Powell, and so it's just
Dwarfs
it's such
him.
a basic thing when you're standing next to him in like hard hats, and he looks so much smaller. Now this is the next thing where Trump goes, the budget overruns. It's now up to 3.1 billion on the budget, and you watch this because Powell like goes apoplectic.
A little bit, or a lot. So the 2.7 is now 3.1.
I'm not aware of that.
Yeah,
Mr. President.
it just came out.
He's like, it just came out. Here's the memo.
I haven't heard that from anybody
Dick.
at the Fed.
Look at it.
It just came out.
Point number two for optics. I don't care if you need the glasses to read it. When you're in this situation with somebody like Trump who's trying to alpha body you for cameras, grabbing the paper and now taking out your reading glasses, you lose. Here it comes.
Our notes had it about 3.1 as well.
3.1.
3.2.
This came from us.
Yes. I don't know who does that.
You're including the Martin renovation. You just added.
Our entire capital.
Yeah, you just added in a third building. Is what that is. That's a third building,
Well,
including
no,
the
but
Martin building.
it's a building that's being built.
No, it was built 5 years ago. We finished Martin 5 years ago.
It's part of the overall work.
But it's
So,
not new.
And you just
Yeah,
added
it's-
another building. It's part of your complex, and
Yeah.
it was part of the work.
If you're renovating the whole thing, then until the renovation is done, all parts of it are part of the renovation, even if it's a new building.
So Trump is basically adopting the approach of, I'm going to humiliate him so much that he just resigns.
Yeah, because there's arguments, but stupid arguments, that you can't fire him without cause.
Yeah.
But they could
Oh,
be
the-
looking at this.
Well,
that
this is the predicate for-
overpayment
yeah.
is cause.
His cause, yeah.
especially when it's a person who's supposed to know how to deal with money.
So here's what happens. If this is, hey, pal, you're being such a tool. I don't like you. I'm going to humiliate you. And you know what? At any given moment, I can fire you with this as my cause.
So
and
you might want to just resign.
You can fight that in court, but you only had like 8 months left anyway. The Supreme Court's going to make you fight it out where you would just get back pay if, you get, if that is what is the decision.
Yeah.
So
we're going to take a look. We're going to see what's happening, and it's got a long way. Do you expect any more additional cost overruns?
Don't expect them. We're ready for them, but we have a little bit of a
ready for
reserve
'em?
that we may use, but no, we don't. Expect to be finished in 2027. We're well along, as you can see.
Nice to take these off every once in a while when we're not under too much danger. So, any questions?
any
So the clip-
questions now that I've shamed him?
So the clip I heard was the one where he was like, I used to do buildings like these. It would be like $200 million is what this would cost. We're at $3.2 billion. I understand there's always a little bit of added extra cost, but didn't happen to this extent under me. And Trump would know. I mean, that's what he did, was build buildings. How do you get to 3.2 billion for office buildings?
The argument they're making is basically that the entire thing was top to bottom asbestos, and since it was built in the 1920s and 30s, it's not shocking to think that could be the case. But
Right.
because of red
it's a
tape,
historic building, you can't knock it down and just
Yeah.
start from scratch.
they have to do, like, once you do that, it's government red tape. The way you have to go about now disposing, removing, reinforcing, it's
Trust
all
me,
ridiculous.
I get it with the insurance, side of things. We see the asbestos thing still come into play every now and then.
Now, does that really mean it should cost that much? No. But I can tell you from working in government contracting, here's what the other thing is. They're going to have a preference for minority and female-owned small businesses that contract to be the removers.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of those places end up getting in over their head, like bidding on jobs where they'll win it because they have a contract preference. And when they actually get in to do the job, they end up having really big problems. They can't do it, and then they have to subcontract to a real vendor that can do it. And then there's that becomes a change order.
Yeah.
That gets approved. It's a racket, which I'm going to be starting back into tomorrow. So good for me.
Bingo, Lindsay. This is why a lot of the regulations need to be rolled back. Not necessarily on asbestos, but on all the other red tape and regulations.
Honestly, this should be the Fed.
The poster child for overregulation.
Yeah, should be. Well, this should be the excuse. Like, if you're that inundated with asbestos, how about we just tear your whole building down?
Yeah.
Just tear it all down. And we don't bring it back. No more. We're not bringing it back at all.
Yeah. The Fed is completely separate from the government, though, correct? Or it's supposed to be?
The Fed is,
or is it just separate from the executive?
It is a government-appointed body that acts independently of so the president appoints the the Federal Reserve Board members, but they don't. But they're on 10-year terms, or basically it's long enough that they cross presidential cycles.
Right.
And the only mandate of the Fed, this is the other problem. The Fed has two contradictory mandates. One is to ensure that the currency has a stable value, fighting inflation. And the second is to make sure that unemployment is kept to the minimum level possible. Those things are not always in congruence with each other. So, and because of that, and because the politics of things means that unemployment is always more important to keep down than inflation, that's where we get the Fed's goal, where they, instead of wanting to have no inflation, they want 2% inflation per year as the goal.
Right. That's what
Which
they
is
consider
bullshit.
a healthy economy.
Yep. So, I mean, it's terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, so that goes back to when we, created the modern Federal Reserve, which is a monstrosity and a problem. So
That, in a way, that kind of feeds into what I was wanting to talk about. Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk made some great points with Tucker that I guess most of us probably know, but because
it
of
was
the
nice
generation
to see
he's
someone
from,
on
it makes
Tucker
a
that
difference.
wasn't blaming the Jews for things, so that's good.
Yeah, that is nice because it's been a lot with Tucker lately. But Charlie's point was basically that, and I think I may have made this point last week or on Comix Show, but kids nowadays they've got no chance. I mean, there is no way to really buy a house. The numbers were in the 60s and 70s. It was like the housing averaged 3 times what your annual income was for a typical household.
Real quick, Brahma, I do blame you because we started with the wrestling thing. When you said no chance, you know what immediately went into my
No
brain.
chance. That's what you got. Chad sitting back going.
That is what the baby boomers are looking at, the millennials and zoomers, and they are saying, suck it. We got all the houses and the low interest loans. You ain't getting shit.
Pretty much. I mean, the average cost of a house now has gone up to 7 times the average annual income. The average age of somebody buying their first house now, first time home buyer, is 38 years old. So how are you even supposed to try to start a family if your first house, you're averaging 38 years old is when you start getting all those things done? Because most of us think, I'm going to get a good job. I'm going to buy a house. I'm going to find a gal, get married, start having kids. But a big piece of that has always been buying the house. So the whole idea that, the millennials and Gen Z are renting because they like renting. No, it's because there's no way for them to buy houses unless they become crypto millionaires.
Well, you don't even
They're
have
also-
to look at houses. Look at cars.
It's
Jesus
it's
Christ, like,
everything.
who can afford a car now? I'm in a situation where, going back to work that is not fully remote, I'm looking at the fact that I might have to go from a 1-car house to a 2-car house, and holy Jesus, even used car prices, you're talking like a 12-year-old car is still running 13-14 grand.
It's real quick, Eric. I don't know what happened to Rumble. I just went and looked, and it fired up and then didn't do anything. So it was in the list of destinations. So sorry, usual rumblers. But yeah, go ahead. Sorry. Prices.
Prices, and this is why I call bullshit on when they talk about like Trump's tariffs are going to inflate things. They're like, because this past week, after the trade deal with Japan was announced, Ford, GM, and I guess Stellantis, which is they're a mess anyway. Kind of all 3 of them who are considered the domestic manufacturers, even though Stellantis is European, but they're the ones who own Jeep and Dodge. Mm-hmm. They were complaining that now, because of Trump's tariffs, with the import tariffs on steel and aluminum and et cetera, which are much higher than the 15% tariff that Japan will now be paying to import vehicles, it will be cheaper for Japan to coming into the car market than it will be for Ford and GM and Stellantis to make vehicles in the US and sell in the US. And everybody is like, number one, when have prices gone down when you've had access to all this cheap shit?
Right. It's only gotten more expensive.
It's only
safety technology has only screwed us in the pocketbook.
Yeah, so that's
And a lot
number
of it's
one.
technology we don't even really want or care for.
Yeah, I don't
Like,
need.
I don't need lane
everything.
assist. I don't need a front and a rear camera. I know how to, back up a vehicle for the most
Hold
part.
on, hold on.
I mean,
You've got a lot of women in your house. You need the backup camera.
True.
not on my car.
Also true.
I mean,
They're
have you
not driving
seen
mine.
have you seen a woman driver without a backup camera lately?
Yeah, we all grew up without backup cameras.
I didn't say with.
But not lately, yeah.
Doesn't matter. Mad, have you seen a woman try to drive without a backup camera? It's a bad.
No,
It is a
not
bad
in
idea.
this century.
Yeah, the other one is the auto engine shut off. I hate it.
Well, no,
Especially when you're trying to run AC and it's like, no, we're at a light. I'm just going to turn
Zeldin-
off and blow hot air.
Zeldin already got rid of that. That's done.
I know. But I'm just talking about the things that car manufacturers have put in that nobody asked for.
No, those weren't put in that nobody asked for. The NTSB and all the other government organizations mandated these things start being required as of a certain year.
Kinda
Like the auto
uh,
engine off was
yeah.
required by. That's why Zeldin rolled back the requirement for it. It was an EPA requirement to reduce emissions, which is bullshit. It doesn't do anything
Roman,
but fuck your engine.
The auto engine shut off is if you're idle, then your engine just shuts off. Then the second you start trying to put your foot back on the gas or take it off the brake, then the engine starts back up. But like if you're running AC or running heat, then it's not actively cooling the air while you're sitting there because the car's not on.
And you got
It's stupid.
They feed you this bullshit like this isn't going to impact your battery, but
Your starter.
It effed your starters and batteries like all over the place if you didn't turn it off, because you're basically taking what you normally a person is maybe doing 2 or 3 starts a day, and if you commute and had any kind of traffic lights, you then quadruple the amount of times your car is turning off and turning on, and the wear on those things. Those are significant issues.
I mean, it's kind of like the vax. It's like we all see these things happening, and they're telling us, "No, myocarditis isn't a thing. It's not being caused by that." And then we get reports. It sure as hell is, and some forms of cancer and a whole bunch of other stuff. I mean, they like to gaslight the consumer constantly. But the other thing that Charlie was talking about with the youth that I wasn't really familiar with, that I found interesting, was the buy now, pay later, generation of things. So it's not putting it on credit. It's like I have a bank account with JP Morgan Chase. If I'm making a purchase, it'll actually ask me, do you want to make this purchase with 4 payments instead of 1? And I guess the kids are doing this for like pizza and concerts and going to the movies. So it doesn't affect your credit score, but they're getting absolutely buried under credit that is not credit because it's not coming from the major credit systems. It's coming from like 3 different companies. But they don't know how to deal with money because they're asked, well, I mean, you can just put off everything. You can get whatever you want now and just put it off.
Okay,
Which
so
is
that's
kind of what the credit cards did, but it also, we knew that we were screwed if we screwed the credit.
Here's where I'm going to say something that Matt is probably going to very vehemently disagree with. One of the great problems isn't just the buy now, pay later. It's the fact that because of the gig economy, DoorDash and Uber Eats and all this other shit, they don't even get up to go get food. They just like think it comes from an app and will be brought to them. It is the laziest thing. If you can't be bothered to even just drive to a McDonald's to get your
in Matt's
cheeseburger.
defense, we had the gate closed and had my car blocking him in, so he had to get DoorDash
Yeah.
at 4 a.m.
It was
So-
the best Whataburger I've ever had in my life.
I would have loved Whataburger at that time that night.
Could you have even tasted it through all the mosquito?
That was the that was the Benadryl night. So I was probably up doing something that nobody knows what I was doing all night. But yeah, that was the bad night.
So yeah, so I think there needs to be a complete reset within the mindset of the youth. Not,
But there
and I
has to
underst-
be something else that we've got to
I-
be able to get some of these things under control.
Well,
like
here's the
cost
well,
of housing and
no.
stuff.
Well, here's the magic thing, Brahma. You deport the 50 million people who are here illegally, and magically,
Yeah.
there's a lot of jobs at McDonald's that suddenly open up. There's a
Yep.
lot of jobs. You know, this is the craziest thing. When I was 16 and I got a job, when you would go to the fast food places, it wasn't El Salvadorians and Colombians and Peruvians working.
Yeah.
It was 16 and 17-year-olds. And you know what would be the morning shift ones? The ones who had gotten emancipated and maybe dropped out.
Right.
Good for them. They worked the morning shift. Those jobs were meant to be like minimum wage jobs were meant to train your workforce for the future.
Right.
They are not meant to be. This is the biggest bullshit
It's
when they
the
talk
whole thing about the
15
living wage
Yeah.
BS.
No, nobody should be making a living wage flipping burgers. That is not meant to be a living wage job. Ever. It is meant
Yeah.
to be a training wheels job. It is meant to be a first job. Like it's like a starter home, right? You want to be able
Gas
to have
money
starter
job.
homes. Yeah. And those jobs, here's the thing, those jobs went away. And so teenagers are learning less the basic work ethic. And their parents are giving them money for apps and food and things like that. Not all of them. I'm not saying all of them, but to a great degree, though.
I guess what I'm getting at is we're very hard on a couple of these generations, and a lot of it may not have been as much their fault as we had originally been thinking about, because the fact that everybody decided we do need $25 for somebody working at McDonald's. It wasn't your 16 and 17-year-olds that were asking for that. They weren't getting the jobs, not because they didn't want jobs, but mostly because they weren't getting hired because there was cheaper labor out there. And it goes back to the same things we were just saying about deporting everybody. So I don't know.
And all right,
I've been hard on millennials and I've been hard on Gen Z in the past. I think some of that may have been misplaced, is what I'm saying.
It is,
But-
especially on millennials.
Part of
Well,
it's
technically,
misplaced.
I'm an older millennial.
Okay, here's part of it is misplaced, but part of it is also, and like Bush says, they are very disrespectful and entitled
True.
and lazy as a group when they get into a real workplace.
Yep.
And
And they
again,
don't know how to speak on a phone to save their
This
lives.
is because they don't get those starter jobs where when you're 17
Customer
and they tell you-
service.
and you're getting berated because it's 12 minutes past when the breakfast time ended at McDonald's and
And the customer is always right.
or when I got told I had to go clean a grease trap. That's some dirty ass work, man. That is, and
Oh, yeah.
the smell that comes out of that, I don't care what mask you wear, it's not good. But you do it because you're 16 and you think, okay, this is my job. I'm doing it. You learn, like I clean toilets. You learn.
My
you
job is
learn-
to do what I'm told.
when you're doing jobs where you have to do that kind of work, it helps teach you that when you get into an office job later, instead of bitching that you don't have a nap pod, you're like, fuck, this is awesome. I don't have to clean a crapper.
I really
is
do want
amazing.
a nap pod now at my age now. I would love a 3 o'clock to 3:30 nap.
But if you take a whole generation of like younger workers where you didn't give them the high school jobs to start, you put them right into college where they got student loans to learn about their fees and be told that colonizers are the devil and et cetera for 4 years. Then they go into a like a completely corporatized workplace. They become a problem and they don't have. And now I agree with Brahma. Maybe there's other, maybe it's not all their fault.
There's some
but they
other
do have,
factors.
They
Yeah.
do have to bear some responsibility. For
Oh, I'm
instance,
not saying they're
Brahma,
blameless.
I mean, when I was young, if I had made some decisions that made me not a dependent of my parent anymore, I would probably tell them as soon as it happened. Younger
Right.
people sometimes make bad choices. That yeah.
True.
So
So the other part of this talk with Charlie was, so youthful male unemployment is at 7%. It's the highest it's been in probably forever. And then he went into a little bit of stuff about how we've gotten rid of the blue collar jobs and now we have pink collar jobs. So those who do go to college, I mean, they come out and they're expecting to get high paying jobs in whatever field. That typically is not what ends up happening. Those that don't go to college, the blue collar jobs have kind of been disappearing because we've got other people doing them. And we've all talked about how those kind of jobs need to come back, the plumbers, electricians, all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So the males are not participating in employment at the same rate. Meanwhile, girls, it's skyrocketed. And when they go to college, they come out and they get what is being deemed or termed pink collar jobs. So these are the girls who don't get married, aren't moms, but they go into fields in all the corporate businesses like HR and DEI departments where they can play mom to a whole bunch of employees that don't want them to. So all they really look at is feelings and fairness within the workplace, that kind of stuff. So they're basically substituting having kids for having a whole bunch of people that they treat like kids at work.
just to play off on some chat, I see Roman over there. My son wants to work. He did GOP political stuff for his first jobs, fell off. He's had a tough time finding work. Go apprentice as an electrician, man. I will tell you right now, that is the job to get out of the trades. Because number one, if you're a plumber, you got to deal with obviously the other. But electrician, if you work, electrician is steady work. It's a good work. You work yourself up to being a master electrician. You're making six figures, easy.
Yep.
And you can open your own shop and sub it out. I mean, if I had to go back again, I might consider that would have been the route I probably should have taken. Because
I mean, go, man.
I was going to say, and as fewer and fewer people even try to go into that line of work, then it's going to that field, your
it's the South
salary is
Park
going to
thing.
increase.
Remember the episode of South Park where all the trade workers were the ones who were millionaires?
Yep,
because they were in demand.
You want to talk about here AI taking jobs? One of the last jobs AI is going to be able to take is wiring a house.
Right.
So
right, but the first jobs they're going to take is decoders, and everybody's been told for the past 10 to 20 years, learn to code. I mean, that's been the mantra from the political class the whole time. Learn to code, to the miners and everybody else. So those are going to disappear with AI. You're not going to be needed. So the trades are going to be the things that are actually in demand going forward. Because I don't think any of us saw AI moving at the speed that it's moving.
Which is
and
why
we were just talking about its infancy, a year and a half, 2 years ago?
Yeah, like Mid-Journey and some of those early, generative AI.
When we were just generating horrible pictures with, 75 hands and 100 fingers on each of those hands. That was a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years. And now we're all making thumbnails with them, or with it, so. And Elon has gone and done something stupid and tried to get all the teenagers and 20-year-olds hooked on an AI girlfriend or boyfriend. So I'm not sure what Elon's plan is there with population replacement rate, because that's not going to help.
So here's the thing. There is a couple stuff where you have to read between the lines on Elon. XAI is the offshoot of when he bought Twitter. He sold it, and if you listen to his visionary speeches where he talks about what he wanted Twitter because it gave the greatest amount of real-time data on the human instant reaction in mind compared to any other social media network. Twitter is real time reaction data on how people react to given stimulus.
Or bots.
Or bots, but look, trust me, Twitter knows which ones are actually bots and which ones aren't, and they don't. So in terms of farming for AI, I'm talking about.
Right.
So he gets at that, and it's no mistake that within the couple, like 18 months of him having Twitter, which he rebranded X, they launched Grok and X AI as the sub, as a spin-off company, which now has a higher valuation than Twitter or X on its own.
And now we've got a whole bunch of idiots just asking and trusting everything Grok says in every conversation.
I mean, it's better than them not having a clue about what's being said.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
But why don't you ask Grok on your own time instead of making every one of us see, Grok, is that true? Grok, can you tell us this? And it's 150 people all saying the same thing. You never get the answer because it's so far buried in there. Twitter's become very hard to actually get anything from except for the initial post.
So I see Sharp 3D. My boss wants me to use AI. I told him I refuse. I'm on borrowed time now.
Coding?
I don't know whether it's coding or not, but the AI integration is happening at all levels of pretty much every business.
It kind of already had been. All the chat bots that companies used for like customer service, and I mean, even going back to like Windows with a stupid paperclip, that was all supposed to be, I mean, the absolute infancy of AI, because it would read your question and it would try to figure out the answer for you.
So I don't know. This is gonna sound silly, because I do think eventually this is a problem. I don't know that the AI stuff is necessarily going to eliminate all jobs. I think it's going to change what the jobs are, because right now
Humans will have to go back to labor.
Yeah, there's going to be a labor element where we're going to be shifting back to and that's where I think Trump is right to bring manufacturing and other things back, because those are AI insulated jobs.
The question is, how quickly will the rise of robots doing the labor jobs also be taking place?
Well, number two, I mean, you remember when computers came into the workplace, people thought
it's a fad.
It's a fad, or it's going to take all of our jobs. Wait, I mean, You got to wait. There could be a whole new fields of work that we don't even understand yet that are going to come about from maybe using AI tools.
Sure, but is anybody going to be smart enough to do that work?
Well, no, but that's the thing. Like, if you wanted, AI is going to possibly be the great leveling for creativity, right? Not everybody has access to, as example, Skydance, right? They just finished their merger with Paramount. Effectively buying it. Mm-hmm. Who owns Skydance? Larry Ellison's kid. So do you think he might have had an extra advantage with Larry Ellison, the founder of Oracle, giving him hundreds of millions of dollars to start his studio Skydance? Yeah, he did. But in about 10 years, some guy named Mad, living in Texas with AI tools, is going to be able to make content about rhinosaurs that will entertain people
or just intro songs for everybody on the internet.
So, yeah, Southern Belle says Grok gives people 6 fingers and extra arms and legs. Belle, go back and look at what AI images looked like 18 months ago.
Yeah, you remember that Bud Light commercial that they tried to do with AI where everybody was on fire and all their faces looked like they were in a Soundgarden video? That was about a year ago.
If you look at the rate of acceleration in the quality, I mean, if you want to go back to the 80s, you got Tron had computer generated imagery, and that was like 81, 82, all the way up to, it took about 10 years, a decade, for them to be able to get to being able to do something like Jurassic Park, where they still had to integrate a lot of real live puppets and animatronics, all the way up to, you know, the late 90s and 2000s, where they were finally doing with Star Wars. The first, people forget, Jar Jar Binks was the first fully CG character in a movie, in a live action movie. That didn't happen until 1999.
Well, think about just what computers and technology did to our communication too.
Yeah, so
The
like
phone was primary, then it became email and text.
no
Now the
what
phone
I'm,
that we use is not technically even used as a phone anymore.
what I'm trying to say, and Bush is 82 for Tron. That was 17 years to get from that point to that point.
Yeah.
AI imaging and generative AI has been around for public use around 22 months.
Yeah.
And the abilities it has from when it first got rolled out to people using the tools to now are exponentially better. Like, people are making full videos, and some of them aren't bad. You know, you can tell they're AI, but, you know, depending on what you're asking the AI to do, like for some of the stuff where it's actual video where they're just changing the words that are coming out of a person's mouth, some of that stuff is getting pretty seamless. You know, like so don't sleep on the ability for AI to, within the next couple of years, be making very high quality things on Mad's new channel that you should all subscribe to.
And that we'll be doing a show after this show.
Yes.
At least me and Mad. I don't know about Chad.
Yeah, I've got my first day at the new job. I got to get up. So
Yeah, I figured.
Then you're not going to be able to sleep tonight, anyways. You're going to be
that's
too
not how
nervous.
that's not how it works. I sleep fine.
Well,
Yeah,
then,
it's me that stays up.
yeah. Why are you
I
worried
don't
about
have
tomorrow when we're
my
talking
blood
about tonight?
pressure isn't 200 over 150.
Yeah.
What's funny is that's not that far off from what it really is.
Hey, go
190 over
can
105.
Is it not letting you remove the Powell video, or did we just get distracted?
We got distracted and I didn't
Yeah.
try. So next big topic, we hit on it last week, but we didn't really know what was going to be a part of it. Was what the thumbnail was. Tulsi Gabbard going after Brennan and Clapper. So basically the background on this is Russiagate was essentially Obama telling the intelligence agencies, after they gave him something saying, yeah, Russia really wasn't an issue during the election. And he said, no, I want a different answer. So he sent them back. They used the 3 pieces of knowingly discredited info and basically turned it all into Russiagate. Had it out to the news organizations within hours, and even before they had finished drafting up everything. Apparently, all of that was kind of buried for the past, 10 years now? Now it's, about 10 years. Because that was, 2017, 2016?
Yeah, something like that.
It was buried there were no electronic copies. There were only 5 paper copies of this report, and they were all put into the highest classification, basically a vault. So there were 5 techs, is my understanding, or intelligence people that worked on this report, and that's all been discovered, and that's what's driving the news that's coming out from Gabbard. So Obama basically kneecapped Trump before he even got into office by creating the Russiagate thing along with the intelligence agencies, and made him fight the first 3 years of his presidency against all these allegations of the Russia hoax. So that's the background. What, have you heard anything new or different on that, Chad? Anything you want to address on it?
No, I mean, clearly he committed perjury. It's black and white. There's no ambiguity about him.
Who, Brennan?
Yeah, Brennan perjuring himself as a result of this stuff coming out. The criminal referrals have been made.
Yep.
Bondi needs to get off her ass and charge it.
I think so.
I mean,
I found it interesting that Trump said that that Obama would not be able to be arrested because he's got immunity. This is beyond the scope of what the president's job is.
So here's the question, right? This is where you get into it. Bear in mind that Trump wants to have a very loose interpretation of presidential powers
Yeah, I
and
get
presidential actions. In the fact that Obama was working with official government agencies doing this,
To commit treason.
here's where the problem comes in. You may not like what he did, but it's within the purview of the president's office to do these things. And the right course of action to be able to deal with this kind of action as a president with presidential powers is impeachment. And if you're no longer president, you're kind of, there's not really a thing to
Right.
do with it. It is what
Right.
it is.
Well-
The founders set up this system on purpose for this reason, because if this stuff is coming to light when he's in office, he can do it. If it's not, you can go after all these other people. They don't have the presidential immunity the way he does. That's how you do it. Go after Brennan, go after Clapper, go after all these other people. Unfortunately, the way presidential immunity should work, and Trump is not going to fight this because it helps him with all the arguments he's making, is that with the fact that he's using these offices, using presidential briefings, using executive agencies to do these things, means it's within the office of the presidency that he's doing it. It falls under the immunity.
Maybe you do
Blanket.
impeach him post presidency, though.
Trump set the precedent. You can impeach a president post presidency, because what it does, it would remove his pension, it would remove his Secret Service protection, etc. Like, those were all the things they wanted to do to take that out of Trump, because of the impeachment basically negates all of the things that he gets as a former president.
And disgraces.
Well, there's that.
If you
too.
actually convict. Yeah.
Now, has any president ever been, and will one ever be convicted with the supermajority required? No, it's
Pretty
not.
hard.
It's not likely at all. I mean, if they didn't get impeachment against Andrew Johnson in the 1860s, they're not getting it now.
Now,
Yeah, I'm still
the
mad
other
about that
question,
one.
the other question I guess I have on this, just thinking about the whole situation, is ultimately fake information was fed to the public through every media organization about Russia interfering in our election, which turned a lot of people in the country heavily against Russia. So does any of the current stuff that has been going on with Russia and the standing in the world for Russia, all that kind of stuff, how much of that has been caused by this action?
I mean, there's no way to kind of.
There isn't a
figure that
way
out.
to really define it, but I mean, you can imagine the sentiment towards Russia before this was basically Obama's, on the Democrat side, or the leftist side at least, was Obama's line to what's his face?
Medvedev.
Yeah, Mitt Romney.
Oh yeah,
During the
80s
debate
call,
when he
they
said
want their
the 80s
foreign
calls,
policy.
they thought of Russia as a joke. Then all of a sudden, all the Dems, everybody on the left, has their pitchforks out for Russia because they think that Russia undermined the will of the people, when in reality, Russia didn't do much of anything, and the will of the people was that Trump was put into the presidency.
They also never hacked Hillary Clinton. It was, in my opinion, based on publicly available knowledge.
Hillary or the DNC?
The DNC and Hillary. I mean, I think Hillary's emails got hacked, but they never. I don't think they're the ones who did it to WikiLeaks. I think Seth, our good old DNC staffer, who got double tapped while out jogging at 2 a.m. for some reason.
It happens.
It happens. Especially if you wrong the Clintons. In my opinion, just based on publicly available data, I think he was the person who leaked all that. And that's why they found it was him, and they removed him from the equation. No.
Well, some of that was a little bit of the other news that came out from Gabbard, though, was that Russia did have information on Hillary's health issues, type 2 diabetes, and taking what kind of pills were they? Basically, she was having psychotic breaks or whatever. So she was taking a whole bunch of a cocktail of pills just to keep going, which makes the videos like her getting into the van completely coked
When
out
they
of her
threw
mind
her into
different.
the van, yeah, that was...
Tranquilizers, yeah. So I mean, Russia did have that, and since they thought Hillary was inevitable, the thought was that they were going to release that to undermine her when they wanted to after she became president, because all their intelligence was telling them, yeah, Hillary's going to win, and they really didn't have a preference other than Trump probably would have been harder on Russia, or probably was harder on Russia than Hillary was.
Trump,
because you had the whole reset thing with Hillary.
Here, if you're Putin, and you came up and and got your experience mainly starting in the 80s, and you saw what Reagan did once he was president to the Soviet Union,
yeah,
by galvanizing America into an economically powerful engine again and destroying the Soviet Union. You would absolutely not want somebody like Trump to win, because Trump's clearly stated policies are economically rocket fuel to America, and a super strong economic United States is the absolute worst thing you would want from a Russian perspective in general. So whereas his experience with Hillary would have been, I get whatever the F I want.
Yeah,
from
we've got
Hillary
the reset
Clinton.
button,
I
and
mean,
we've gotten all the uranium from her.
Hillary got him, like Hillary gave him all the uranium. Hillary, like all these deals happened under her. They took Georgia while she was
Secretary of State,
putzing around. So if you're Putin, you don't care. They emptied the strategic reserves, like Bush said. I mean, they did all these things that Putin was probably like, good for them. I'm glad when they're in office. I mean, look how happy he was when Biden got back in office.
And he immediately went to war.
Yeah, because he knew that it wasn't going to be a problem for him. So I don't buy this whole thing that Putin was like. I mean, clearly we all are on the same page. Putin wasn't working to keep Trump out of office,
keep Hillary,
or to keep Hillary from winning. He was trying to just sow discontent within the United States to keep us from being
have us fighting each other,
global competitor. Now, once Trump got into office, if you are very familiar with the ideological, philosophical underpinnings of Putin's overall philosophy, if you read like Dugin and some of those people who are kind of the Svengali to Putin, to give,
if you've got your opponent on the ropes, punch him.
No, Alexander Dugin is a philosopher. So
no, I know. I was just making a joke that was essentially what his philosophy is.
Oh, Putin's real philosophy is, I will put uranium in your restaurant food and kill you in public if I really want to.
Yeah,
so,
allegedly.
Allegedly. But if you read Dugin things, that's where Dugin has come up with. He has philosophies about a multipolar world with aligned value systems with Russia and America as a Western power have a lot of values that align, and the true enemies of these values are who we can work together to circumvent and keep
those
down.
who don't have the same values.
That would be the globalists, and I mean, Putin is very anti-globalist for a lot of reasons. And, he's very pro.
Well, he's very pro-Russia.
Pro-Russia,
I mean, it's just like the America first, only it's Russia first.
Yeah, so he believes in they genuinely believe that nationalist mindset with traditional values is the ideal scenario, and that having multipolar, meaning many hegemons, if you want to say, many powerful countries,
Right.
is not a problem if they all operate within nationalistic traditional value sets.
Sorry.
What? Because he's opening a drink.
No,
That
I
is
just
not-
blew away
no,
a fly.
I know that sound.
It was bugging me, so I shot it. It finally landed. Sorry, Jed, keep going.
Yeah, just Dugan and Putin believe that there's nothing wrong with having multiple powers. You don't have to have just two global superpowers or even just one. It's actually really good for the world if you have many powerful countries that are traditionally valued fighting against globalism, because globalism, in their opinion, and this is a shared statement by a lot of people, is a cancer that is not, that tends to break a lot of things.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know. I think sometimes Putin still does what he wants.
Yeah, he's still got that
is as he
KGB
does.
in him.
Sometimes he goes out and scores 15 goals in a hockey game, and that's good. That's fine. Yeah, I'm sure. Have you watched that? He has all
As a
the
dictator
NHL.
does.
He has all the NHL stars on his team, and the goalie. Shockingly, the goalie lets these goals in from like center ice. It just can't stop him. When
It's a hard slap shot at, what, 70-something years old?
Yeah, so it's funny.
All right,
I
so
don't. I just think
one-
circling back to are all these people? What are we going to do? I think what the Trump administration should do is prosecute the shit out of all the underlings, and start using some novel legal theories to get to your point about the media being complicit in it, and start actually holding them accountable for being part of like this
or using
information.
anonymous sources that they never check anything anymore,
this
and
is
just
where
going
the
with it
problem
as
is-
true because the intelligence agency says so.
No, you got to go at it in a way where it's not First Amendment violations, right? So I think you got to go with the fact that a lot of these people,
Election interference.
they're being paid by CIA, by FBI, like they are actually full lock, stock, and barrel owned by these agencies. Find those connections and go after that. That's where I think you need to go, because if you go
Kinda like
after
cutting
them,
off the USAID.
yeah, if you go after them for reporting it, I don't want to do anything that negates the First Amendment. I want to go after people based on the fact that I know that they're getting paid for this shit, and that's how you go about it. Like once they are getting paid, they are an agent of a conspiracy, and go and make it RICO violations, right? This is the same way you pulled down the mob. It was racketeering. You don't have to go crazy. That's how you do it. You have the criminal conspiracy with Brennan and Clapper and the rest of these people putting knowingly false information and then classifying it at the highest level so no one else can find out what they did, and then setting up all these dominoes to be able to go after people. You go after Sally Yates. You go after the people who set up General Flynn. You go after Mike Pence, because that rat effer was the one who went to Trump to try to told Trump that because Flynn lied to him, he needs to go. And Trump, because he believed Pence at the time, didn't want somebody as his national security advisor that would lie to someone. But then all the information came out later that Pence was the lying piece of shit. So that's who. I mean, all these people, and they've used the January 6th blueprint. Those are the put them all in jail, suspend it, don't let them out, and do it.
Start making examples of people,
and do arrest them and transport them to Florida or Louisiana or one of the states, so they don't put it in DC where you get all these asshole judges who will do what they want, even ignoring the Supreme Court constantly. Do it in one of the areas. You can try them in any place in the country. I would do it all in Florida. Try to put them into Cannon's, district court or whatever, because Trump, as a resident of Florida, was the victim of the conspiracy. So use that as justification to try them in Florida rather than DC.
Sure, because at this point, the left has gone so far and the media is so in the pocket for them that until you give them a bloody nose somehow, it's just going to keep happening. So you actually must start prosecuting people for this. It can't be one of those things where we do an investigation and nothing ever comes of it. There has to be arrest for this one. The only other thing that I was thinking about with this story so far is, do you guys remember when Peter Strzok, the FBI agent,
The one who did
said
that
that there was an
crazy
insurance
little
policy?
head bob. Yeah.
Yeah, you remember in his text to his mistress,
Lisa
talking
Page?
about
What was her name?
Paige.
Yeah.
Or, is it? Yeah, I think so. Remember when he was talking about the insurance policy for if when Trump does get into office? Do we think this was the insurance policy, or do you think he was even that high up to be a part of it?
Crossfire Hurricane was 100% their insurance policy. Because at that point, they had already, that's what they had set up to be able to go after it during the transition. They made that their grounds to be able to just jam them up the entire time. Remember when...
Well, and to get him to basically sideline the DOJ that was...
Well, that's why
Sessions.
they immediately went after Sessions for links to the Russian ambassador.
Right.
Yeah, so that they could
Which
sideline him.
he
Yeah.
stupidly decided to recuse himself from all of it. And that basically killed Trump's ability to do anything in the first term about cleaning up anything. So I just thinking back on the Strzok insurance policy stuff, it's like trying to remember all the little things that were happening back then. And
I still
the
can't
Strzok one
believe that
stuck
him
out
and
quite a
Page
bit.
got $2 million each because of Biden paying them off.
Gross.
Oh, well, no, $2 million total. 1.2 to him, 800,000 to Page
Right.
for violating their privacy, for letting out messages that were on government issued phones, their official FBI phones.
That were subpoenaed.
Yep.
All right, so I mean, we hit that. There are only two more quick topics. I mean, we've talked about Epstein kind of to death over the past month, but
Wait, I've got one that I
Wait,
want
what
to
happened
show.
with Epstein?
well, Ghislaine is apparently going to name names, or is apparently already given a list of 100 names. I guess A, is it trustworthy, and B, is there any chance she should be pardoned or have her sentence commuted?
She could make a deal to get a lower sentence, but not pardoned.
I think there's a lot of normies who would be up
she's
in
gotta
arms
support
if
it.
she gets pardoned because
Well,
she
no
did
pardon.
participate. Yeah.
All right, here's the thing. All right, I remember when I first got my driver's license.
Oh,
my
yeah.
my mother
did
told
see
me
this
never
story.
check the organ donor box, and I was like, why? Wouldn't I mean I would like the idea of my organs helping someone if I was. She's like, they kill you to steal your organs. And I was like, Mom, there's no way they do that. Well, guess what? They do.
RFK says it's happening.
Per RFK, our findings show that hospitals allowed the organ procurement process to begin when patients showed signs of life, and this is horrifying. Organ procurement organizations that coordinate access to transplants will be held accountable. The entire system must be fixed to ensure that every potential donor's life is treated with the sanctity it deserves. These ghouls are trying to harvest your organs while you're still alive.
There's a good chance he won't make it. Let's go ahead and harvest.
I mean, sometimes the general comes in and says he didn't hit the fire suppression system. Let's just take the
Oh,
things out.
fuck off. I'm halfway paying attention, but I caught that.
No challenge coin for you.
Yeah, that was an interesting story that came out. That I did see that. I just didn't have it on the list for tonight.
Oh, did you see this clip? Another foreign-born representative. So this is another, I believe, Somali.
Is it another Somali?
immigrant.
There are a lot of Somalis getting into our government right now.
She is a state level representative for Maine, mind you. So
anything. So coming into the States, everything from the snow to, you know, the housing, the homes that we were all of a sudden occupying it, everything was a shock, honestly. Every day was something new, and I'm like, oh my god, this is just getting worse. Yeah.
So, what state did you guys land first of all?
Kansas,
Kansas City.
of all places. Yeah, it was like a boot camp for me.
She's bitching after being given refugee status, being given a home, complaining like that she's not just living, in her third world. What did Trump call them? Shithole countries?
Shithole countries.
Basically.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because it's just like, right, like,
Huh.
I mean, anyone who lives in Maine knows Maine and has ever visited Kansas, they will know what I'm talking about. It's just a lot to deal
Interesting.
with as a person of color, honestly.
It's a lot to deal with as a
An
person of
ungrateful
color.
prick. Every single one of them that's in office that opens their mouth are just ungrateful bitches. Ilhan Omar is the same way. I mean, it's the same line from all of them.
Which brings up this fun one. I love this like the United States of America was built by immigrants. When colonizers settled America, they pushed the indigenous people west only to attack them shortly after. It's like the witch button. Was America built by immigrants, or are we colonizers who stole the land? Which is it? Which is it?
Well, there's been a little bit of an argument about that in weird circles this week, too, about colonizing versus immigrants. And it's like, there was no infrastructure. You were actually going out into nothing and trying to survive and build something. Immigrants have come over, for the most part, especially the illegal immigrants that we're talking about, for the most part, they've come over to everything is handed to them, and it's already built. So
there's a mega difference between I'm gonna put the it was championed, of course, by Ted Kennedy, the immigration law changes of the 60s. I believe it was 68 that it passed, where they added chain migration and a lot of the other
birthright citizenship.
There is a night and day difference between immigrants who came into the United States pre that change in the 60s and post that change in the 60s, because immigrants that were coming in before that era and before that change happened were assimilating to the United States.
Right.
They were adopting U.S. customs. They were adopting U.S. culture. That's the whole point. Like, there is no longer a melting pot. Like, when you see the protests, they are waving Mexican flags. They're waving El Salvadorian flags. They are talking about La Raza. They are the race that they believe Mexico still owns. Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, California, all basically the entire Southwest is rightfully the property of Mexico.
So at this point, what as Americans do we actually have in common other than our money? Because we don't have the language in common with half of the people in the country.
I mean,
we
I can
don't
use
have
US,
the culture in common with half the people in the country.
I can use US dollars in the Caribbean. That doesn't make them America.
It's the only thing that binds anybody in America together, though, is our economy. There is no American culture if you're bringing in all these people that are bringing in every other culture and not assimilating. There is no standard language if we're just letting everybody speak whatever language they spoke when they got here. What binds Americans together at this point?
Right now?
Yeah.
I don't. There's
because we've stopped
Sydney
assimilation.
Sweeney.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's
find some Americans. Yeah.
We are. I know Sharp's saying it's inevitable, but we are, in terms of political division, we're probably clocking around the 1840s level, where there is distinctly separate ideas on the two large segments of the United States.
Where the country should go and how to get there.
We have not reached the point where one side is completely determined the political system is no longer a viable path. That's what led to the Civil War, is when one side says the political system that we are in is no longer a path for us to be able to redress our grievances in any tangible way. We're checking out. We're fighting we're making this a civil war. I don't know that, both sides right now still seem to believe in the political path to be able to solve the problems, but both sides are giving indications they're starting to lose faith in that as an option. You're seeing it on the right when you see people on the right talking about how we need a just, full on right wing dictator to
tear down a
take
whole lot of
over
stuff
and
and
take down,
start from scratch.
On the left, you see it when they talk about wanting to go full communist, collectivists. I mean, you're talking New York City. We're going to tear down everything. We're going to build our own grocery stores. We don't want any of that. Like, neither side, on the national level, though, neither side has embraced that to push it to civil war. When that is when it's actually going to happen. If we got to the point, like, it was starting to clock that way, where after Romney, when Obama won, and they kept giving the demographics as destiny speech about how the Republicans will never win another presidential election, et cetera, et cetera. If Hillary had won in 2016 and had gone full bore, and the Supreme Court had shifted because she got to make the choices, that's where the conservative movement might have been pushed fairly close to, or already may have decided it by 2025, where we're in now. Political system's not working for us. We're out. But it didn't happen. And because Trump won and the left was not prepared for losing power, they didn't think it would be a long-term thing. They fought their damnedest. So they were not ready mentally to go there yet either. Now, Trump 2.0, who has been dismantling their systems of control at every level, is probably pushing them more towards that, because he's now impacting their money. And as any mob movie will tell you, once you start messing with the money flow is when they start really getting upset.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's where that's the classic line of no return, is when a side taps out, though. That's where you got, and like Sharp says, the leftists getting violent. And we know enough to know that that's usually organized and orchestrated by the Democratic Party and their leadership. When that gets beyond their control, when that animal starts eating their own to just foment the revolution. A good example of this is the Chaz over, and that when it gets to that level where they that was not something the Democrats had wanted. It was bad optics, and it just started making them look bad. That's where it means that's the side that's ready to start like rumble and do a war.
Now, just to tie it all back, one of the other things I was thinking about is we always look at it as the left and the right type situation, as far as that's where conflict could come from. I'm wondering, with the way that the rug is the ladder's kind of been pulled up on some of the younger generations, when they get tired of the boomers being millionaires and billionaires, and Gen X doing not as good as the boomers for the most part, but doing better than the millennials and Gen Z are, when does it become something where they've had enough?
When do the workers of the world
they've had a whole
unite?
bunch of the left? Yeah, well, they've had a whole bunch of the left of that age group is used to going out and protesting and punching people in the face or shooting people. So, what if there is a unity, generational almost, and it's not even generational. It's mostly the constant haves versus the have-nots, and the feeling that you are being held back. I don't know. I'm hearing the audio, so I'll add it. Is this something you were trying to play?
I was getting ready to maybe end on this because I was like, I wanted to see Matt. Like, this is 10 out of 10, 100% a dude, and I'm tired of pretending.
Griner?
It's not.
Yeah.
And this was
we traded
after,
the warlord, or we traded.
Yeah, this is who we
Warlord
traded
of
the
Death for
warlord.
this.
Yeah. So listen to their thank you for their kid's birthday party, and just listen.
Dasher's first birthday was such an amazing time. Jessica,
Who's that man
that
talking?
sparkle.
Yeah.
made
Brittany
this
Griner.
I'm on a different tab.
Yeah.
Everybody had a great time.
Mad,
It
set up
was
your stream so I can
done.
redirect.
Everything was put together.
It's already set up.
perfectly. Breakdown
I couldn't
was
find it.
amazing. Nothing. It looks like nothing has
Did you
happened.
check the
now.
new channel?
Make sure that you've
This-
enabled it.
There is.
I have.
Nobody in their right minds can think that that's not Joanna Man over here. I come on. Yeah, this is Bush over there in Russia. They housed her in a male prison, and no one questions why that was done because they pulled down the pants and did the check. So
There's your WNBA.
yeah. Oh, it's so bad. Pay us what you owe us. Yes, you need to write $20 million checks to the NBA for floating you for every year because that's what you're running as a deficit. It's like, come on. This is a dude. It's clearly a dude. Can't we? And they're complaining about Caitlin Clark. Not even a thing. Bothers me. Bothers me.
I'm sure it does.
I just wanted to get in that before you switch over.
Sure. And then next week we'll hit on Trump talking about Kamala's campaign cooking the books and paying for endorsements just for a couple minutes. And then it'll be interesting to see what comes out of Bongino and Patel. They've basically asked for some patience, and Bongino put out a thing saying today that he's seeing stuff that has shaken him to his core about the intelligence agencies, wondering if we do have a fourth piece of government that is really just what we've all called the deep state. I'm wondering what he's going to be revealing about that, but we'll hit all that next week. I'm going to try to redirect us over to Mad because we're going to get going pretty soon. Mad, what do you got coming up besides the show that we're doing immediately?
Well, coming up, I'm about to get up and go get myself a cup of caffeine.
Nice.
Like
Tuesday
straight
night.
caffeine. Yeah, Tuesday night.
we do.
It's gonna be a lot of fun. The story that we're gonna be going over is amazing. It's one of the best we've done yet. As soon as I figure
You're
out
just
which
trying to
one that
get
is.
little Chad to to stay up, aren't you? Chad, what do you got coming up?
The Ascendant Art podcast Fridays, 9 p.m. Eastern. We got MadEPAP on Tuesdays, which I don't know what the story will be this week.
One of the best stories ever.
Oh, I thought we
To
were
be
doing that in a
determined.
few minutes, doing the
To be
best story
determined.
ever.
Wait, are you
Yeah.
doing a MadEPAP? Is that what you're doing?
How am I
don't
supposed to
know
do a
what he's
MadEPAP
wanting to do.
without you?
You make
Oh.
me read.
No. Although I could bring somebody in to read, I guess. I don't
Did
know.
you cover Friday, Chad?
Friday, yeah, Ascendant Art Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern. Yet, and
Okay.
hopefully people will go like, subscribe, share that channel because YouTube's new thing is effing with us, man. They're like,
Oh yeah. Our
they
views
took
have
so
been
many
way down on the count.
They took hours away from us. It was weirdest thing. I think they don't like us, so we got to fight for it. Our channel is under attack.
And everybody's channels are listed in the description along with some of the other friends of the show.
And Mad's new channel is under attack. You need to go subscribe to Mad's new channel as well.
And make sure you hit like before you leave so that we get counted as a view from you. So hope everybody has a great week. I did get the redirect going, so if you're here on YouTube, it's going to automatically send you over to Mad's new stream on Mad's new channel. We'll probably get going in, 10 minutes, Mad? Okay, so stick around and it'll
he's
automatically
already
move you.
gone.
Yeah, he's already gone. It'll automatically move you over. Like I said, hope everybody has a great week. Thanks for being here. We'll catch you all later.